Oh, it's Monday, November 15th. Kyle Rittenhouse is a murderer. He murdered two people, shot somebody else, and this trial is a fucking disaster. It's like a clown show. I don't know, I don't know. I think can't be more protests about this. And the fucking clown of a justice who's the longest serving justice in the Wisconsin courts, apparently, um, won't allow the jury to consider um, a, a minor with a deadly weapon, or whatever that charge is. A minor with an unlawful weapon. That one he's guilty of. I don't even know how you possibly plead not guilty to the fact that you were 17 years old walking around with an AR-15. Like, you admit that you did that, and you had it. Like, you're guilty of that. That there is no question. You're guilty of that. But the judge says we can't talk about that. We can't charge him with that. And he started the whole thing by not allowing the people that Kyle murdered to be called victims. You could call them rioters or looters or aggressors, but you couldn't call them victims during the trial. Then at one point, when the prosecution entered into evidence some video that they enlarged, zoomed in on, and the judge went on this big soliloquy about how, on his phone, he doesn't want his messages kept on the phone, his text messages. So he takes screenshots of them and emails them to himself. And sometimes when he tries to make them bigger, they get distorted or blurry. And I hate this phrase, but it's just like, holy fucking shit. Okay, boomer. Like, I'm not sure how to use my phone, so I'm not going to trust your fancy video technology. Whatever, Cletus. Like, Jesus Christ. It's a goddamn murder trial. And his fucking phone rings all the time. If Patty LuPone were in that courtroom, she'd give him a what for. And Rittenhouse going on the stand and Brett Kavanaughing his way through this whole thing. You're not. You have zero remorse about what you did. You're scared that you're going to go to prison for it, not that you did it. You don't care about the people that you killed or the fact that you did it. And you didn't go there, with some, honor and respect that you needed to save whatever is in that Target or, TJ Maxx or 7-Eleven or whatever the fuck you thought you were going to go save by running around with a goddamn gun. And self-defense, go fuck yourself. You created a dangerous situation. You're running around with a gun. People are allowed to say, hey, we don't want your gun here. Self-defense. When you create the tension and the chaos and the fear, you can't then blame or claim self-defense. You were part of the aggression. I don't get it. It's the same thing with this whole crowd, though. They're all such fucking shithead bullies that go into the problem, creating a problem, being aggressive, being mean. And then as soon as something happens, where there's any pushback, oh, what are you doing to me? I want to respect my rights. Fuck off. It's the whole thing, and and these fucking straight white guys who just think they can get away with anything, because unfortunately they have for the last, I don't know, how long have we had straight white guys? They've just been able to do whatever they want with no consequence. Um, you know, hashtag time's up. But unfortunately, we'll see what this jury does in Kenosha. But I don't have a lot of hope given the instruction that they've been given, um, and the ridiculousness of this trial. What a slimy little piece of human garbage. He deserves to be in prison for the rest of his life. Fuck you, Kyle Rittenhouse. Um, it's the whole problem with that that whole side of the argument, that they just sort of sit there and they wallow in their needling, right? And they're just gonna, when I can do the near, and what about near? And they push and they push and they push. And as soon as somebody pushes back and says, "You're being a fucking dick, knock it off." Oh, that's not very tolerant of you. You should respect my rights. And their idiocy to follow any soundbite or whatever kind of shithead slogan. This whole, go Brandon, fuck this Brandon bullshit. They're such children. They chant all this crap. It's like, it's like the assholes, in junior high. And those shitheads that used to bully me. Fuck you. You're grown fucking adults, and you can't fucking hold a political argument or possibly in any way let enter into your brain something beyond what you had as a vision, or in just you in your little teeny tiny little scope of vision when you were 13 years old. Like, they're all in a form of arrested development. They just don't know how to be mature adults. And I mean, that's the biggest problem. They think this is all a joke. Fucking, Steve fucking Bannon. Fuck, go to prison. Oh, they picked the wrong guy to mess with this time. Really? Because you're in contempt of Congress. And you're blatantly, like, just throwing that in everybody's face. And you're going to claim victim. Oh, it's a wind chime. Can't even, fight for your rights in this country anymore without getting locked up by the libs. Fuck you. You incited a riot to, create a coup to take over the fucking democracy of this country. You should be in prison. You and Kyle Rittenhouse can be, cellmates, hang out, trade notes about how to be the bigger shithead in life, and then never see the light of day. Although Bannon, will only get, if he gets any jail time, will only get a couple of years. But at least he can't get pardoned by fucking orange toddler. And who knows what's going to happen with Rittenhouse. But I can't believe this motherfuckers want to call him a hero. And he murdered people. In the meantime, we've got the Aubrey trial going on, and that fucking defense attorney is complaining that the family has religious counsel there. They had Reverend Sharpton, they had Reverend Jesse Jackson. Were they close personal friends before the man was shot, murdered in cold blood by 3 white guys, trucks? No, they probably weren't. But that's not the only reason that is that's becoming a thing, is because he's making it a thing. Because he doesn't have a leg to stand on. Because those 3 men murdered him. They need to go to jail. This country is exhausting. But today, Biden signed an infrastructure bill, over $1 trillion in investment, um, to all the things that the Republicans love to talk about: roads and bridges and highways. There's some stuff in there from climate change, which I'm sure they're like, ooh. But one would think that people would be happy about this and we'd have a little more fanfare about it. But no, everyone wants to just talk about the fact that Joe Biden's approval ratings are low. Because we just can't catch good press, no matter what we do. There is no liberal media. There is no media that's actually helping. Everybody's so afraid of being perceived as liberal. All skews to the other side. What does a Trump voter think about the infrastructure bill? Who gives a flying fuck? The Trump voters are morons. Anyway, that's a Monday.